you did everything right. You hired the best talent, invested in leadership training, and put structured development plans in place. But despite your efforts, something isn't clicking. Leaders are struggling to scale with the company's growth. High potential employees are leaving because they don't see a clear leadership path. Employee engagement scores are low and team productivity is slipping. And senior executives are questioning whether leadership development is even worth the investment. You know leadership is the key to long-term success, but you're stuck in a cycle that doesn't seem to break. The frustrating part? You've already tried leadership training programs. You've spent thousands, maybe even millions, on workshops, coaching, and online courses. And yet the results, short-lived at best. Leaders attend a program, get inspired for a few weeks, then go back to the same old habits. No lasting change, no measurable impact. And when you present these results to the C-suite, they demand hard numbers, proof that leadership training is driving business outcomes. But you don't have the data to show them. So once again, leadership development gets pushed aside as a nice-to-have instead of a strategic investment. Meanwhile, the same problems continue to hurt the company. Bottlenecks in decision-making, teams operating in silos, underdeveloped managers who aren't ready to step into bigger roles. And worst of all, top performers, your future leaders, are walking out the door. They don't feel supported. They don't see a future in the company. So they leave for organizations that offer clear leadership pathways and a culture of growth. And the cycle repeats. Every time a key employee leaves, you're stuck scrambling to fill the gap. Recruiting costs skyrocket. Productivity takes a hit, morale declines, and before you know it, leadership gaps are affecting the bottom line. This isn't just an HR problem, it's a business problem. And if you don't solve it soon, the consequences could be severe. Companies that fail to develop strong leaders experience a 37% higher turnover rate than those that do, a 15% drop in productivity due to ineffective management, and a 12% decline in revenue growth because leadership gaps lead to stalled decision-making and missed opportunities. The cost of doing nothing is simply too high. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. It's not your team. It's not even the concept of leadership training itself. It's the outdated one-size-fits-all approach that most programs use. Most leadership development programs focus on theory, not real-world impact. They teach generic strategies that don't align with your company's unique challenges. They don't provide ongoing reinforcement, so lessons fade fast. And worst of all, they don't tie leadership growth to measurable business results, so it's impossible to prove ROI to executives. That's why traditional leadership training fails. And that's why, if you keep relying on the same ineffective methods, nothing will change. But what if leadership development wasn't just another expense? What if it was the driving force behind your company's growth? Imagine having a leadership system that not only develops top talent, but directly increases productivity, revenue, and retention. Imagine being able to show your C-suite hard data, proving that your leadership programs are delivering real, measurable ROI. And imagine finally breaking free from the cycle of ineffective leadership, where teams operate smoothly, where high potential employees stay and grow within the company, where leaders at every level are empowered to drive results, solve problems, and create lasting impact. That future is possible, but only if you have the right system in place, one that is scientifically designed to drive leadership transformation, one that is custom-built for your organization's unique challenges, and most importantly, one that proves its impact with hard data so you never have to fight for executive buy-in again. Because at the end of the day, leadership development shouldn't be a gamble. It should be an investment that delivers tangible, measurable business results every single time. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change the way you approach leadership development forever. What if leadership development wasn't just about training sessions and coaching calls? What if it was a measurable system, one that produced real business impact, like a 14% boost in productivity and a 12% increase in revenue? Because that's exactly what's possible when leadership training is done the right way. See, most companies invest in leadership development without a clear strategy. They choose training programs based on industry trends, not business outcomes. They send leaders to workshops, hoping something will stick. But when the training ends, nothing really changes. That's because traditional leadership development lacks three critical elements. 1. A direct link between leadership growth and business performance. Without this, it's impossible to prove ROI to executives. 2. A scientifically proven method that creates lasting behavioral change, because without deep transformation, leaders fall back into old habits. 3. Ongoing reinforcement and support, because leadership isn't learned in a day, it's developed over time. Without these, leadership training is just another expense instead of a business driver, and that's why most programs fail. But when you implement a data-driven, results-focused leadership system, everything changes. Imagine a leadership pipeline where where high potential employees see a clear path to leadership, keeping them engaged and committed. New managers develop real leadership skills instead of just being thrown into roles unprepared. Senior leaders drive strategic initiatives with confidence, without bottlenecks or inefficiencies. And imagine having the data to back it all up. So when the C-suite asks if leadership development is worth it, you don't just say yes. You show them the hard numbers that prove it. So how do you make this a reality? By using a scientific, ROI-driven approach that directly connects leadership effectiveness to business growth. One that's built on real-world application, not just theory, and one that ensures leadership transformation actually sticks, with measurable improvements in team performance, engagement, and bottom-line results. The best part? It doesn't take years to see results. In fact, with the right system, companies see improvements in just months, with leaders becoming more proactive, teams performing at higher levels, and turnover rates dropping significantly. But there's a catch. This only works if you implement a proven framework, one designed to create lasting leadership transformation. That's why most leadership programs don't deliver long-term results. They focus on short-term learning instead of long-term change. They don't provide ongoing coaching, reinforcement, or real-world application. And they don't give decision makers the data they need to prove the program's value. That's why you need a different approach, one that isn't just another training program, but a complete leadership transformation system. A system that ensures leadership development isn't just an HR initiative, it's a business growth strategy. Every training dollar spent delivers a measurable ROI, with improvements in retention, performance, and revenue. Leaders at every level, from new managers to senior executives, develop the skills they need to drive results and lead with confidence. And in just a second, I'll show you exactly how this works and why, once you implement it, leadership development will never be a guessing game again. Stay with me because this changes everything. The truth is, leadership isn't just about training, it's about transformation. And that transformation only happens when leadership development is built on real-world impact, measurable ROI, and ongoing reinforcement. That's why we created a proven leadership system that does exactly that. It's not just another training program, it's a complete, data-driven leadership transformation framework designed to develop leaders at every level while driving measurable business results. We call it the Leadership Impact System. This system is built on three critical pillars. 1. Cognitive behavioral coaching, transforming leadership from the inside out. Unlike traditional programs that focus on surface-level skills, this approach rewires leadership behaviors at the core. Leaders don't just learn, they change how they think, make decisions, and lead teams. This means long-term transformation, not short-term motivation. 2. A data-driven, ROI-focused approach. Every part of this system is designed to tie leadership development directly to business performance metrics. That means you'll finally have the data to prove how leadership growth leads to increased productivity, retention, and revenue. And when your C-suite sees those numbers, securing buy-in for leadership development will never be a challenge again. 3. Ongoing reinforcement and real-world application. Most training fails because it doesn't stick, but this system includes continuous coaching, accountability, and real-world application exercises, so leaders actually apply what they learn long after the training ends. And the results? A 14% increase in workforce productivity, a 12% boost in revenue growth, a measurable reduction in turnover because leaders now know how to engage and retain top talent. And this isn't theory. Companies across industries, including AI, manufacturing, healthcare, and cybersecurity, have already implemented this system and seen massive results. In fact, 86% of leaders who go through this program report measurable improvements in leadership effectiveness and team performance. Now you might be wondering, how do I know this will work for my company? That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you don't see measurable improvements in leadership effectiveness within 90 days, we'll work with you until you do. That's how confident we are in this system. But there's one thing to keep in mind. Because this is a customized leadership transformation system, we only work with a limited number of companies at a time. So if you want to secure a spot and see exactly how this can work for your organization, now is the time to take action. Click the button below to schedule a free strategy call and see how the Leadership Impact System can transform your company's leadership for good. But don't wait, because once our spots are filled, they're gone. Click below now and let's build the leadership pipeline your company needs to scale, thrive, and grow.